comes along with scaling your real estate business. And for a lot of you, you're going to wouldn't have even thought of at the first phase of your business. And I just got done watching an awesome video by a mentor of mine named Dan Martell that does a whole training about overcoming your fear of building and scaling your business. And he wasn't talking about real estate specific, but I'm going to bring basically his conversation into and make it applicable to real estate. Because here's the thing, at the end of the day, when we're out there making it happen, you're going to come across obstacles, you're going to come across challenges, and you're going to have to make decisions that can affect your business and therefore affect your family and your life. And depending on how we make decisions and how we choose to approach our fear and overcome our fear can determine the result. So at the end of the day, what's going on in our brain when we make decisions can determine the outcome of our business. And if we make the wrong decision based on what's going on in between our two ears, it can set us back. But if you make the right decision, it can also propel you forward a lot quicker. And what I like about what Dan Martell says, in particular with when it comes to scaling your business, and what I found scaling my real estate business or any business that I've ever built, is there's different types of decisions. And this is what I love the most about the video that I just listened to that he got out of it, was that there's a type 1 decision and then there's a type 2 decision. So type 1 decisions when are decisions that are hard to come back for, okay, or come back from, meaning like it's a huge decision. An example would be maybe you decide to move your real estate business underneath a different brokerage, or maybe you decide to bring on a partner, right? Something that's a really, really big decision that can be unwound, but it's really detrimental if you make the wrong decision. And then there's a type 2 decision that Dan talks about, which is a decision like maybe you're thinking about bringing on an admin or a marketing person, and when you go to make that decision, all these different fears start setting in, like, well, what if it's the wrong hire, or what if they have success, but then they get, I've spent all my time and energy and money in building into this person and they go work for another brokerage, or what if I bring on this inside sales agent and it doesn't work out and I spend all this money, or what if I sign up to this lead generation company, it doesn't work out. So there's different types of decisions, and that's what I want to focus on in this, because for myself, going from a small boutique brokerage to actually scaling a brokerage and a technology marketing firm simultaneously, at one point I had 170 employees, and we were moving hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in real estate through my broker-to-broker referral program and our brokerage. And a lot of decisions had to be made. A lot of tough decisions had to be made. And if I would have heard this training, I probably would have thought about it a little bit different as I was scaling. So I want to share this with you, an example kind of on how to really break down the decision-making process and how to overcome your fear, okay? So I want to talk about type 1 decisions. For those of you that have big decisions that are hard to unwind, first of all, good for you. If you have a type 1 decision where you're thinking about making a big move or a big change, or you're running across a big problem, good for you. Think about that as a positive thing, because, and actually the story that Dan tells, which I love, is, when Oprah Winfrey, she said something on TV about beef or about cows or something, and it affected this company in a big way. So they sued her for like $1 billion, something huge. And in that interview, she said, how do you feel about that? And she goes, well, I'm just thankful that I have the opportunity, that I've done well enough to be sued for $1 billion. So she processed it in a totally different way, right? But here's the thing. When it comes to real estate and it comes to where we're at for most decisions, it's important to, of course, like, analyze that decision, look at it the right way, and I'll give you a framework to do that. But also, it's important to take action because a lot of those decisions can be unwound. And when it comes to sales and marketing and scaling our real estate business, we have to make a lot of decisions revolving around sales and marketing. And so if you have a coach, obviously they can help walk you through those decisions. But here's a simple framework that I used to use when I was making decisions about vendors to work with or hires or whatever it may be. I would always first and foremost start off with a model, right? And really hash out what I'm looking for and what I really, really need. And if you don't start there, sometimes not be in line with your business. And okay, how do I, if it's this vendor, if it's this marketing person, I want to make sure I'm not making a decision out of fear, right? So, for example, if I'm in a position where, let's say I have this really good lead generation company that I want to try out, but I know it's kind of tough on the budget or whatever it may be, or it might be something where I don't know if it's going to work out or not. Simply what you should do is get the opinion of some people that you respect around you, your advisors, your coaches. Find out what's going on around that particular company or that vendor. Make sure that it's going to match your business plan, and ask yourself how quickly you can unwind it if it doesn't work out, right? And the nice thing is that when we're making those decisions, we shouldn't, we don't want to let fear slow us down and delay the decision-making process too much, because at the end of the day, if you look at the really successful business builders, the real estate teams, they make decisions quickly, right? And Dan Martell talks about this. He talks about taking massive imperfect action. Okay, so what that means is that once you've thought through it, you've asked maybe 3 people's opinions, you've looked at it, it matches up with your business plan. There's more of a positive upside. It's something that you can unwind quickly. Then it's time to take action. It's time to move, right? And within that, we got to make sure that we don't worry about maybe like sweat the problems that we don't even know are going to happen, or delay a decision because we're afraid of the mistakes that might come across, or worry about the opinions of other people when we make the decision, right? That's a big one. Or maybe like, feeling uncomfortable, right? Well, this is going to be uncomfortable. And one of the things that I experienced firsthand when I was working and going to Tony Robbins conventions, which Dan mentioned in this video that I watched, is largely due amount of uncertainty or uncomfort that you can handle at any one given time. And I really want you to think about that, because if we're in business and we're growing and we're serving, okay, it's virtually impossible to do that without having and experiencing things that are uncomfortable, right? And so one of the things that I just want to share with you is that if you're feeling a little bit uncomfort in this decision that you're about to make, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Embrace that, dance with that, right? And don't try to run away from it or fight it too much, because it's part of being in business and scaling a business. And I can promise you that no matter where you're at in your journey in real estate or any business that you're looking to build, there's always going to be these uncomfortable moments. And the better that we get at processing that and making decisions on solid ground, weighing out the positives and the negatives, the better off we're going to be. And remember, the bigger problems that you have, the bigger decisions that you have as you continue to scale, the better, right? I don't want to deal with small problems necessarily and spend so much time worrying about small problems, because that's going to get me small results, right? My results aren't going to be as big. So flight instinct is when you fight back and don't let your brain lie to you, okay? Don't let fear lie to you. And I've come across some really successful entrepreneurs. They're so good at this. They're so good. They've mastered this decision-making process, and they're able to take massive action with a clearly defined decision-making process, and then work through it. And the only way that you can innovate and get better and grow and scale your business is by trying things. Even when other people have done it before you and you're following a model, that's going to eliminate the decision making, or it's going to eliminate the variance versus their business. You might have a different niche. You might have a different market. You might have a different approach. You might have different commission splits. You might have different marketing budgets. So even though there's a model there, there's still all these little layers that will affect the outcome. Maybe there's different skill levels within your brokerage. Oftentimes I see people signing up to all these vendors and services based on their peers, but their peers have different circumstances, and they're not factoring in those circumstances when they're making the decisions. And so really, at the end of the day, this is a mental exercise that requires strengthening over time. But the better that you get at making decisions and you make them quicker and innovate and adjust to them, and don't see the scaling your business as something that you can't come back from because you're going to be making these decisions. You can always unwind if it's the wrong decision and move forward. And part of that is your learning. Some of the best innovations, some of the best ideas, some of the best recruits, some of the best scenarios that I've ever come across is actually it actually started with a roadblock. It started with a frustration. It started with a failure behind it. And, something for me, I've blessed and privileged to be innovative, have developed this really amazing technology, marketing and coaching platform that's like the industry hasn't ever seen before. But if you look at that platform, and we're blowing up, we're one of the fastest growing technology and marketing companies right now in the real estate space, and it's helping our brokerage build too. But if you look at that development, it's based on a whole lot of uncertainty and a whole lot of big decisions and a whole lot of things that I've had to unwind in between. So I want to encourage you, if you're trying to build and scale your real estate business and you're feeling that fear, don't let that fear stop you. Use this framework of looking at the decision, asking yourself, is this a type 1 decision that will be very hard to unwind from? Or is this a type 2 decision that I should act on quicker because it's going to help me scale quicker? Then, and you can unwind from it. Then make that decision and really hammer home your decision-making process and building that mental muscle. But more importantly, surrounding yourself with great people to help you think through those decisions before you make them. Okay, Isaiah Colton with your daily dose of sales and marketing and the Sales and Marketing Academy. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Anything I can do to help you make decisions, I'm here. I'd appreciate it if you like this page, like my page, and share this if you